Hi, Lynn. Hi, Stephen.
Hi, Vlad.
Yeah. So we are at the end of this second hymn from the second mandala. And that was kind of a mysterious end with Varuna, who is not sleeping in the night and provides the passages for all the creatures to find their home in the deep sense of, or in the transcendental consciousness where they can rest, or from where they can come into this manifestation and have connection with their origin. If we think about it a little more, we could find this traveling of the souls to their origins is quite a difficult task. And, we have to leave our physical forms and go to the place where we are at home, not to some animal world or plant world or any other world. We will have to find our own origin. And that is what is provided by Yama and Yami in our case. Yeah, there is someone who is taking care of our souls traveling back to its origin. So the passage is quite difficult, and it is described in the Veda that usually Yama sends Sarameya dogs, and these Sarameya dogs with 4 eyes, they are looking all over, they're looking backward and forward because the danger is there. The passage which we have to cross is a very dangerous passage. There are many attacks, there are wolves looking and all kind of creatures trying to grab our soul in this passage over that, vital world. They're taking care of this, our journey back to the origin where we can rest and assimilate all the experiences we got in this lifetime, and where we make a new plan for new incarnation. And so that is the place of the rest of our souls. But to come there, it takes kind of time and space and care. So we should not be lost. In that sense, this passage kind of tells us that everything is arranged in a very profound way, that we know not only outer embodiment, but also our inner placement. I guess I will have to give this recording. Anyhow, I am recording and I will put our session onto Google Drive. If you want to get it from there, you can get it. And this, of course, passage from here back to our origin and from there back to this body where we have to be embodied is a very kind of complicated journey and issue altogether. And that has to be provided. And that's what Savitar created, that our inner resting place and our outer form, the birth in the outer form, correspond. It's a profound issue, if you think in terms of somebody management. How would you manage all this?
So is there anything to keep? I mean, you said there's all these beings trying to, on these various wombs, trying to get our souls between. And so are there times when that actually can happen?
Of course, yeah. It happened many times, and we were attacked in this passage. Mother describes it very powerfully also in Sri Aurobindo in Savitri, this passage. There is a very very dangerous one passage where only the name of God, of the Supreme, can help you there. There is nobody to help. But what Mother was doing, she was building up the safe passage for the souls, for human beings, to go over this field. I'm sure you have these experiences yourself. When my mother died, it was quite interesting that she came to me after some time, 3 or 4 days after, and she asked me, she told me, I have to go to another side of this field. And I looked at the field, and this field was dark. And on the both sides, everywhere were these, kind of dogs, mad dogs, hurling and ready to attack. So I took her hand and I went with her to the other shore and of this field. And the dogs were kind of following everywhere, but they were afraid to attack. And that was it. And I said goodbye and I came back. And that was very interesting. It was very vivid. I don't think it was a dream of mine. It was something more than that. And I understand that very well. That passage is quite dangerous. Could be a problem for us. But interestingly enough, we know where to go, And this is something. So the inner being corresponds with outer manifestation and birth. And that is in this shloka we can find. Yeah? And our sleep state, when we sleep, we also travel all over in different places, but we return to our origin, or to our original place for a while, for a second or for a few minutes. And Mother says that dream for a few minutes in that place is enough to recharge all our system with energies. Yeah, we don't need to sleep long. We can sleep 15 minutes and we will be totally revived. We have such sleep sometimes, which is giving us energy back. And sometimes we sleep long hours and nothing happens because we didn't reach to that place. We didn't touch the origin of which can give us energy, inner energy. So we are very strange beings. That's what we sleep in the night, and that we have to recharge our energies is a very occult and unknown part of our life. We never think of it, and science doesn't say much about it, knows nearly nothing about it. But it seems that this is the mystery which is somehow mentioned here in this verse. All right, so we move into the next one. Nayasya Indro Varuno Namitro Vratam Aryama Naminanti Rudrah Naratayastam Idam Swasti Uve Devam Savitaram Namobhih, whose establishment of action cannot be measured out, diminished by none of these great godheads, Indra, Varuna, Mitra, Aryaman, Rudra, nor by the forces of darkness, who do not know how to give or sacrifice. Him I call here as the well-being, the god Savitar I invoke by my manifold or integral surrendering. Now here there is one feature of Savitar which we didn't expect, that nobody can actually diminish his power or his vratam, his rotation or his law of action and movement. None of these great godheads, even Rudra, Varuna is the divine being or existence, Mitra the divine consciousness, Aryaman the divine power, and Rudra the involved supreme, cannot really diminish or do not diminish. There is no cannot. They do not diminish. They are part of this movement. Cannot is not a right word, you see. Do not diminish. Oh, no, it cannot be used like this. Is not. Measured out. So it seems that all these great godheads are represented somehow in this movement of Savitar. We know that Savitar represents all the great Adityas, Varuna, Mitra, Aryaman, Bhaga, yes, Daksha, Amsha, and Surya being represented by him, by Savitar here in this manifestation. So to say, he is the action of Surya. And I was already mentioning that the difference between Surya and Savitar is that Surya is the Atma, the self of everything what moves and moves not, whereas the Savitar is the Godhead of, he is the Vashi, the Lord of everything what moves and moves not. So this, the Lord and the self, this is their distinction. The Lord is that consciousness power, whereas the self is the being, the substance. So, and also the forces aratayach, arati, it is that which is not giving or doesn't know how to give itself. Yeah? These are the dark forces or the forces of the first creation. If you remember our first presentations, there were two stages. These are the forces of Asuric forces, who are selfish. They do not know how to give themselves to this manifestation. So they will be always trying to manage this manifestation. They are those leaders about which we are talking non-stop. We want to create leaders now in our universities. They have this sense of management and survival and self-assertion. They cannot give themselves. I'm joking about leaders. There is something in this concept of being a leader, something is terribly wrong in it, in a view of, or from the point of view of the Vedic vision. So these forces who cannot give themselves, who do not know how to sacrifice. Everything in this world lives by the sacrifice. There is nothing can be done without this sacrifice. Yeah, the earth grows vegetables and greenery by the sacrifice. And the flowers are blooming. And from one seed you can have, from one simple small seed you can have thousands and thousands of fruits. Sweetest mangoes, in abundance. This is the law of the sacrifice, of self-giving. The nature adopted this law, and that's why the manifestation of the divine becomes possible. But these forces, aratayach, they do not know how to give themselves. So they will be always self-centered, concerned about their own survival. And our ego sense is built on this. But they cannot diminish his movement also. Even these forces. They do not have influence on the Savitar's movement, evolutionary movement. And then the last verse.
Vlad,
yeah.
Before we move on, can you give us a derivation of arati?
Arati, yes, it's from ra, to give. Now we can open the dictionary and see whether we find something more. Yes. Arati. Oops, nothing. Most probably Aratia. To be malevolent, have hostile intentions. That's what they find in subjunctive. Arata. Okay, I will take it. You see, dictionary doesn't list this. Interesting. Now let me try another one. There are two aratis, yeah? There is another arati, which is not from ara, not to give. Let me see what I've listed here. I listed the translation most probably. No, I didn't. I thought it was so obvious. No, I don't have. Okay. Right. Wait a minute. I will find for you because it is becoming an issue now. Ra. Rati. Impart, grant, give. Yeah, this is what it is. From Ra, Raich. Ras. Bestowing, granting. So, but there is no arati in this sense. It is kind of not in the dictionary. I do not know why. Usually, Munir Williams lists these things. Anyhow, it's not
It's
here.
okay, Vlad. No problem. Good enough.
Right.
Well, if Ra is giving, Ra, isn't that non-giving?
Yes, correct. So no aratayach, and not those not given ones or non-sacrificing forces. Tam, that minanti, cannot diminish, cannot measure out. Also measure out with diminishing. Yeah? It's interesting. These verbs are unique because they cover two different dimensions. Yeah, they cannot measure the depth and the width of this action of the Savitar, and they cannot diminish it at the same time. See how beautifully it is put together. So they are not restricting the movement of Savitar because they cannot measure it out. They cannot come to the end of his consciousness power. So it goes beyond their capacity or beyond their reach. So in that sense. And I invoke this Savitar, the God Savitar, with my surrendering. I added integral or manifold. Why I added manifold surrenderings? Because Namobich is in the plural. So with my surrenderings, I invoke him. So I added manifold surrendering, constant, yeah, in time and space. Or maybe integral, yeah, where all the parts are surrendered to him. Now my mental, vital, and physical being is given to this evolutionary movement. Truly speaking, I think that Rigveda speaks about the evolution more than any other scripture. In the post-Vedic literature, we find it less and less. In the Gita still is there, and in some Upanishads, but the Veda is always about this movement forward. Because it speaks about transformation, sacrifice. Okay, and this verse, I think it is the last one, or at least maybe, not the last one. Bhagam dhiyam vajayantah purandhim narasham sah gnas patih no aviyah ayevamasya samgatherainam priyadevasya savituh siyama. They all increase God's, his delight and his thought. Bhagam dhiyam, and his fullness here, purandhim, in the body. Puram dhim, his fullness, or why I add in the body, because pura is also viewed as the body. May the Lord of the divine energy, Gnaspati, praised by the souls, Narashamsach, protect and nourish us in our growth. Aviyach, nach us, aviyach, increase with his presence. In the blissful center of the reaches, Vamasya Samgathe Rainam. May we become dear to the God Savitar, Priya Devasya Savituh Siyama. Priya Siyama, may we be dear of God Savitar. The language is very simple, as you see. Those who study Sanskrit can understand it. It's like simplistic even. So Vajayantah, we spoke about this word Vaja quite a bit, and here they are Vajayantah. The gods are increasing in the substance, in the plenitude, his delight and consciousness, the power of concentration. The delight and the power of concentrated consciousness, they increase in the plenitude of this creation. Vajayantah. Or they are strengthening. Literally, it would be translated as strengthening, or urging, or hastening, or impelling, inciting. They are kind of promoting it, energizing it, if you will, or increasing the presence in its plenitude of this Bhaga and Dhihi. Dhihi is the higher mind, or the higher capacity of the mind to hold anything in consciousness, to have the capacity, or to have the the strength to hold any image of things and to know it by that. So the bhaga, the delight, the divine delight, and this concentration of consciousness, they increase in plenitude, the gods. Purandhim. Etymologically, you see here pur-dha, bearing fullness or bearing a body, either or. Puram is also considered to be as a fortress or the city in which we dwell. The body is many times compared to the city where there are windows outside. There are 9 windows, 9 holes from which the inner being looks outside. But it is protected by this fortress. Our body is our fortress, which protects our soul. So this fullness in manifestation, they increase in delight and concentration. And he, Gnaspati, the Lord of the divine energies. Gna is usually the female energy. Literally, Gnaspati is the husband of a divine wife. And just look at this, I took it from the dictionary. And you see this? Rigveda 2:38:10. It's only one thing listed. It is our verse. You will not find many of these words. It's only here. So this Gnaspati, the Lord of the Divine Wife, or the Divine Shakti, praised by the heroic souls of man, Narashamsach. Narashamsach is also an epithet of Agni. He is also Narashamsach. And Savitar, 2 of them, praised or pointed out by our heroic souls. Nara, Nri. Sometimes Nri is also, Nara is not only we as men, but also as gods. Gods because it is that element in us which is the soul element, the spiritual power within the soul. And even sometimes we meet also even great gods such as Varuna and Mitra are mentioned as Nara. When they are engaged in this sacrifice, they dare to descend and to do the work of transformation. Because our souls actually dared to do it, to plunge into that darkness. That's why we are Naras. We are those heroic souls who could do this transformation. So the gods are also called Naras when they are doing this descent and sacrifice. It's kind of interesting, that both are called Naras. Vamasya samgatherainam, and in the gathering, in the coming together of the reachers, may we become dear to the Lord Savitar. In the gathering of the reachers. The point of the change of the substance. Yeah. this much here. Each verse is charged with profound meaning, and all of them are connected, and unfortunately our mind is not capable to hold it. If he could hold in all of these visions together, there would be some kind of transformation of our consciousness. And the last verse of this hymn, Asmabhyam tad divo adbhyaf prithivyah tvaya dattam kamyam radha agat sham yatstotribhyah apaye bhavati urusham saya savitar jaritre. Asmabhyam tad divo adbhyaf prithivyah. Thus that should come to us, asmabhyam, that tat divah adbhyaf prithivyah, come to us given by you, the desired wealth from the earth and heaven and the waters. Divah from heaven, adbhyaf from the waters, prithivyah from earth, tvaya dattam given by you, kamiyam most desire, radha agat. That
Question?
yes.
What are the waters?
The waters is you remember in the Aitareya we spoke about these waters, yeah? Abhas and Ambhas. There are two great oceans which got split into the upper and lower ocean, within which is our manifestation, our universe, as a golden egg or Hiranyagarbha, or, which was floating on those waters. Waters are the transcendental worlds for us. And heaven and earth are the mental and physical being protecting us from those infinite realities which are beyond our universe.
Thank you.
So when Rishi says from heaven and from earth and from the waters, that points out beyond. Yeah? And so, which is given to you, this radhas. Radhas is another very important word, wealth or achievement or realization. Another word is good, realization. The most desired realization should come, agat, given by you, for us, from heaven, earth, and waters. Shamyat stotrebhya apaye bhavati. May peace be for those you affirm in their life, and for the friend who helps to reach the wealth. Apaye, api is the one who is a friend. So apaye bhavati sham. Sham, this peace or bliss, peaceful bliss should become. Bhavati is a conjunctive, it's the form which is found only in the Veda, should be for the one who seeks to reach or helps to reach, if you will. And for those who affirm you here, stotribhyah. Stotri is the one, stota, from root stu, to praise. For those who praise and those who try to reach thee, may your peace be with them. And stotri is from root stu, to praise, but to praise in a particular way, by establishing the presence of the deity within one's consciousness. stu. Interestingly, that stu and sta and stri are very closely related etymologically. So it's like from here we have stambha also, the pillar, something as an establishment. Those who establish you within themselves and seek your realization, give them peace. May there be your peace for them. And the last one, and for the singer, Orushamsaya, pointing to the vastness. Jaritre to the singer, O Savitar, Savitar, Orushamsaya, who is pointing Shams to the vastness, Uru, who is looking into the depth of the being. What a poetic end of the hymn, yeah? And to the singer who is pointing to the vastness. I'm translating literally these terms, you see. I'm not making up something from my side or something. It's just like that, the first meaning of the words. So in this sense, of course, Vedic language is very transparent and can give us knowledge which we need, because it has this transparency and clarity, this Sanskrit. It's not yet symbolically used as it is in already mental structure of consciousness. When we come to the sutra literature and shastras, we will have something else, very mental, structured language, and less intuitive and less etymologically clear. Yeah? Somebody wants to say something, I hear the microphone.
It's me.
Yeah. Yes, Julie.
Do you think that when he says the singer who's pointing to the vastness, do you think he's talking about himself, the Rishi is talking about himself?
I think it's every singer, and he himself and everyone else who is seeking that depth of the divine being. Yeah, yes. The singer, the one who expresses that vastness in his life, who seeks the expression. The singer, the one who gives the word to it, is also it's also a profound meaning in this speaking, in the speech. What is this singing or speaking? It is actually expressing in one's consciousness this deeper reality. So for that one, he asks the blissful peace from Savitar. And that asking makes a bridge, a connection between them. As Sri Aurobindo somewhere says, those who choose the divine are chosen by the divine. So it may look like we are choosing the divine, but truly speaking, we will discover one day that it was the divine who chose us, and we just consequentially started to invoke it. It is actually the divine in us invokes the divine.
Is that tied to grace?
Yes, it is that grace which is doing it for us here. There is no mechanical, achievement of the divine. There is no way that one can even know how it is. Why is suddenly somebody has this and others do not? We do not know. There is no such procedure by which we can get there. And we can read about this in the Upanishads, yes, that only the one who is chosen by the self can come to know it, and not otherwise. Neither efforts nor knowledge can bring you there. Well, we prepare ourselves, of course. We purify.
But if, Vlad, I have a question. If that's true, then what's the point of sacrifice?
Well, that is done by the divine. We are just consequential in it. Yeah, the point is that he chose to do so, to manifest himself here. And the manifestation took that form because there would be no other way for him to become many, because he needs the two activities of light and darkness. Darkness will separate that light and shape it into the individual formations, into the fundamental, so to say, individual entities, supremes. So everything here works for his manifestation. There's nothing here which is not needed or outdated. Everything finds its utility in his creation. And that is the beauty of the Veda. It explains all the forces. All of them are needed. It may look like that the darkness is undesired and unwanted, but as we read already, that Rishi invokes Ratri because Ratri is our location for this manifold creation. It is needed. Otherwise there would be no manifestation, there would be only light. I was always joking about this, let it be light, in the Bible. When the God says, let it be light, in the Veda, the God says, let it be night, because the God is light. So, as Sri Aurobindo would say, that we are not coming from the night. We are coming from the light. From the light we come, and into the light we go. And in the middle, in between, we have this event, the divine event, the night, where we manifest the divine in this manyness and this multitude creation. All right, so that was the hymn. We kind of finished it quite fast. So if we overlook, I will look again from the beginning, how it sounds, everything, to get the sense of it, of the whole hymn. Udushya deva savita savaya shashvattavam tadapa vahanir asthat nunam devebhya vihidati ratnam atha bhajat viti hotram suastav. Stood up this God Savitar to move things upward. Most constant work he does, carrying all to summits. Thus holds he wide indeed the treasure for the gods, making the power of movement shared by all in their well-being. Making the power of movement shared by all in their well-being. Vishvasya hi shrushtai deva urdhvah, standing high for all to hear and follow his command. Prabhava prathupani sisarti, he stretches his arms forward, having broad arms. Prathupani. The cosmic waters are devoted, attached to his way of action, Prata Nibrigra. And the cosmic life force rests in his law in a whirling circle. The cosmic life force is coiled within him. Parijman. Ashubhishchit yan vimuchati nunam. Ariramat atamanam chid etoh. Ahyarshunam chid nyayama vishyam. Anuvratam savitur moki agat. Even though he is moving by the fast steeds, now he sets them free. Even he made the moving thing rest in its movement. Even he came down to the desire of those who move with the python, and night followed the Savitar's will, the way of his action. So he reaches deep into the inconscient, to the place of the python where all the force is coiled down and narrowed down to total inconscient. And that's why the night obeys his movement and will do his work. Punah sam avyad vitatam vayanti madhyakartohni adhat shak madhirach utsam hayasthat viritun adardhar aramatich savita deva agat. What was spread out in this vast by Savitar, she, the night, weaves again anew, reweaving all. The powerful and wise Savitar leaves his work in the middle, half done. He leaves it to her to finish. Having risen, he stood up, holding the seasons apart of the sacrificial year. Savitar, the god, came to us with his mind full of luminous rays. Also to keep seasons apart, to maintain and manage the time. It's also his duty. Nanau considerio vishvamayu. Vitishthate prabhavach shoko agnech jyeshtham mata sunave bhagam adhat anvasya ketam ishitam savitra. The flame of Agni breaking through the darkness in his violent marching forward spreads all over the universal life, expressed as various dwelling places for the dwellers. The mother establishes for her son the best portion of delight, and accordingly the consciousness is sent by the Lord Savitar. This is profound. These are the sparks, it's we, all those places, dwelling places which are managed, created by Agni, the flame of the Savitar. And Savitar sends accordingly the consciousness to all those invocations of our, or aspirations of our souls. He provides the consciousness, universal consciousness from above as a response. Samavavarti vishtito jigishu vishvesham kamach charatam amabhut vishvamapo vikritam hitvi agat anuvratam savitur daiviyasya. Again he comes back, Agni, opening wide, desiring victory. Within all moving beings he has become the desire, Kamach. Having left the imperfect work behind, constant in his aspiration, he moves ahead, following the law of the divine Savitar. This is also a beautiful intuition of Agni working here. He takes the same modality as Savitar does. He leaves things undone, not finished. He is not totally concentrating on finishing everything he touches. He leaves it half done and comes back to it again and again, as if in layers. The work is done in many cycles, in many manvantaras, kalpas, and so on. It cannot be done in one go. Tvaya hitam apiyam apsu bhagam. In the waters of being you have established the watery portion of enjoyment, and all the seekers of delight move out, spreading through the desert in search of it. And for the bird souls you have put enjoyment woods. None can diminish the establishments of the god Savitar. And here we spoke about two establishments. One is within the material manifestation, and other is for our souls. There is a double process of evolution going on of our physical manifestation of our bodies through genetic code, and this has to be uninterrupted, passing our genetic information to the offsprings, to the future, and at the same time through reincarnation of our soul. Both are taken care of by Savitar. Yadradhyam varuno yonim apyam anishitam nimishi jarbhuranah vishvo martando vratam apashurgat sthasho janmani savitaviyakah. Stirring constantly in the time of the closing eyes, moves Varuna to his origin of primary waters. All those who sprung from this dead substance born in the body and can see come back to their home as a place of rest. Vrajam. According to the place they must occupy, Savitar shaped their kind, gives them their births here. And this is the inner arrangement of our journey. Previously, waters were mentioned, waters which support our manifestation of our body, and waters which support soma, the reincarnation of our souls. And now these waters are the purity of Varuna's place, where he moves in those transcendental waters, supporting all of us who are born in this body here and who can come back and rest in their inner domains where they came from. And Savitar provides that linkage between the two, between the transcendental and this world, gives them proper shapes here. Nayasya Indro Varuno Namitro, Nayasya Indro Varuno Namitro, Vratamariyama Nami Antirudrah, Naratayahtam, Idam Suasti, Na Aratayahtam Idam Suasti, Uvedevam Savitaram Namobhih, whose establishment of action is not measured out, diminished by none of these great godheads, Indra, Varuna, Mitra, Aryaman, Rudra, nor by the forces of darkness who do not know how to give, sacrifice. Him I call here as the well-being. The god Savitar I invoke by my manifold surrenderings. Bhagam dhiyam vajayantah purandhim narasham sognaspati no aviya aye vamasya samgathe rainam priyadevasya savitur siyama. They all increase his delight and his thought and his fullness here in the body. May the Lord of the divine energy, praised by the souls, protect and nourish us in our growth. In the blissful center of the reaches, may we become dear to the god Savitar. Asmabhyam tat divo adbhyah prathivyah tvaya dattam kamiyam radha agat shamyat stotribhya apaye bhavati urushamsaya savitar charitre. Thus that should come to us, given by you, the desired wealth from the earth and heaven and the waters. May peace be for those who affirm you in their life, and for the friend who helps to reach the wealth, and for the singer pointing to the vastness. Yes. So this is the hymn.
Thank you, Vlad. That was helpful to walk through it in that way. It helped for me to gain cohesion.
Right. There is something about it. Yeah, it says something. It gives us a picture, overview of those inner movements. Unfortunately, I feel the limitation of our mind. You also feel it, yeah? That our mind is so rational and it likes to see bits and pieces and it needs dwelling. And over a long time of dwelling, something comes in and then we have the vision. But otherwise, our mind is quite an incapable being.
Such a beautiful hymn.
Yes.
So I have a question, actually. Is that all right?
Yes, very all right.
I suddenly wondered if maybe the reason that we don't actually remember our incarnations is because Savitar is remembering all those details, and we're there's a kind of trust there. This hymn makes me think that, you know, there's a kind of a very intimate and ancient and deep kind of contract between all the beings and Savitar, who is the, you know, organizer, or the I hate to use the word management after you said such horrible things at the beginning, but the management value of the progress of all the beings, of all the souls, all the creatures, all the details.
What a beautiful thought. It's really profound and beautiful intuition. Thank you for sharing, Julia. It could be because we do not know why we should not remember. Truly speaking, it's a part of this deal, you know, that we should forget all the time. Because if we remember, we would not be able to do that, what we do. You know, we would not be able to work out all the details in the manifestation. But there is somebody, some trustee, who holds the trust of all of us. It's a beautiful thought. when we become liberated, when we discover psychic being, we remember our births then clearly. We can see who we were and what we did. And of course, in spiritual sense, not in the total physical sense. We will have only the sense what we did and what was important for us. We will have memory of those conscious moments in our life. Yeah? And that is something also in connection with Savitar. It's a very good proposition.
I have a question, which is more of a technical one, as we're departing from the Vedas at this point. There are a number of websites that have the Sanskrit that one can refer to, but I do notice there are minor transcription differences from one to the other. And do you have a preferred source that is available online if one wants to look at the Sanskrit of the Vedas?
Right. You see, these are my interpretations. I'm just putting interpretation even, you see. Sri Aurobindo is desired, yes. The rest, you can look into Griffith and Max Muller, if you like, and others, Renu. There are few which are, but they are very different because they translate all these words presuming barbaric beginnings of Stone Age, And,
right, but that's not my question, because aside from the translations with all of those problems, the actual Sanskrit text, there are minor discrepancies.
That is, Kashyap, you can look into. I can send you the text if you want. You can have it. It's very small file, PDF. And you will have the whole Rigveda. Yeah, it's no problem.
Well, thank you.
Right. All right. Okay, so we will close with the mantra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. All right. Hari Om.
Thank you, Vladimir. Thank you all. It was an honor.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vladimir. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.